Mike the Ref Maloney, Big Bad Boris on the call here tonight. It is
Super kick.
Super kick!
Let go! Let go!
Third!
Let go!
Super kick party! Yeah, pay the money for that. Yes! This life is going great! Let's go!
She's healthy.
Let's go!
Is she healthy?
Yeah!
Apparently she's back.
Hey, yo, 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 and away we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 6th anniversary edition of the AEW Dynamite Sidecast. Well, it's a celebration of AEW going 6 years. We've been going about 4, so we've been around for quite a long time here as well, and it couldn't have been possible without each and every one of you. So once again, thank you, everybody, for your support. It is an absolute crazy week, as always, here as we begin the month of October. I am technically on my days off, but the last 2 days of my holiday, I took a week off from work and just been puttering around, playing a lot of Horizon. If you've been around the Twitch lately, we're going to do that again tomorrow and hopefully get close to wrapping things up there. But in terms of the wrestling side of things, we've gotten big news that just came down yesterday about NXT TNA Showdown, which I always talk about production errors being a big snafu. I think one of the biggest production errors I've seen right now is actually happened on NXT yesterday. They actually brought out... They brought up the Inspiration as part of Team NXT, but they brought them out as the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Knockout Champions. Well, that hasn't happened yet. Because of all the changes they had to do for the women's title match, because Asked by Elegance is now on the shelf, and they crowned a new champion in Kalani Jordan, they sort of forgot to... They forgot to tell NXT about the line that they're not champions, so they shouldn't have the titles yet. But whichever way it works, I just hope it's a good show, and it better be, because we're gonna have quite a bit on next week. We got the Title Tuesday here for AEW on the same day as NXT next week. So just a reminder, we will be here on Tuesday for the Sidecast, so make sure you don't miss it. And then in terms of stream next week, probably fill Wednesday in with something else. Maybe our own version of Wednesday Night Fights. We'll have to see here, since 2XKO is actually going into Season 1 officially next Tuesday. We might actually do that in place of it. So, but we'll see how things go here. But in terms of tonight, pretty stacked card for a 2.5 hour show. We got, I'm assuming either the opener or the main is going to be Fletcher versus Orange Cassidy for the TNT title. The proto-star Kyle Fletcher, because he insists that everybody says his full name. And then we have a mixed tag with Darby and Kris Statlander taking on Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. And it's a tornado mixed tag. So everybody in the ring at the same time. Everybody just go ape on everyone else. And just, yeah, it's going to be a little bit nuts here. So we got Powerhouse Hobbs and Samoa Joe teaming up with the AEW Men's World Champion, Hangman Adam Page, to take on Daniel Garcia, Claudio Castagnoli, and John Moxley, which I think might actually be the opening match for tonight. Hey, Brett, how you doing? Good to see you here tonight, sir. I got to feel that's probably going to be the opening contest, and then the other match on the card, which I think is going to drop a few jaws, Brodido and Omega versus the Bucks and Alexander. I'm assuming Alexander's in there to get pinned, but what if Brody King gets pinned and they get set up for a tag title match? Possibly a Wrestle Dream between the Young Bucks and Brodido. I honestly thought that title change was going to happen at the last pay-per-view at All Out, but it seems like they've decided to delay it or else move it around a little bit here. So, but the one question we're going to have for most of the night here is, what is your favorite moment from AEW in the first 6 years? Right now, personally, for me, like all the matches are good, and we have a ton of matches we can list, and I hope that you guys all list them. Guys and girls, sorry, don't want to get differentiated here, but my favorite moment in AEW history has to be the Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, that whole segment, the way it went down. And it just, I don't know if anybody's been overly stimulated with Adam Cole coming out and being so excited about that. Then all of a sudden, 5 seconds later, 2 minutes later, you got Bryan Danielson coming out and going absolutely, the crowd just going into an absolute pizzy of a tizzy about it. So to me, that is one of my favorite moments in the history of AEW. AEW needs to have a Tournament of Death style. I'll be honest, I've never watched a Tournament of Death. And what makes you, like, I really wonder about that, Brett. Like, do they really need something that hardcore? They got the C2. That's a lot of it. Like, do you need something that's just deathmatch? AEW's, as much as people say that AEW, like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'd have a weird feeling to have a death style, like a Tournament of Death style tournament. Like, I don't know all the details about it, but if you're talking about just death matches left, right, and center, more of an ECW level of violence, which is more acceptable, that's fair. I don't see, like, yes, we do have some wrestlers that are absolutely insane for it, but the one thing that I appreciate, oh, sorry, wrong channel. Actually, I flipped it over to Saturday's channel for the show tonight. But one thing about AEW that I really do like when it comes to this violence, they don't do violence just for the sake of violence unless you're dealing with the women. It feels like the women. I think we're getting something that's going to usher in a TV-14. And that's the Women's Blood and Guts match coming up November 12th. If you haven't heard, the big announcement for that is they're doing it in North Carolina at the Greensboro Coliseum. They are hosting Blood and Guts there and there is some rumor about it being 2 Blood and Guts. I really do hope it's only 1. Just for the fact that I would prefer the women get the spotlight for it specifically. But a TV-14 era, like having 8 women in a cage, and there might be some actual blood in there, that's probably going to do it, to be perfectly honest here. But yeah, I could see you wanting to get a little bit more TV-14. I don't know exactly if they want to go that far, to be honest. Save all that stuff for pay-per-views, right? All that violence, all that. Because you notice the real over-the-top hardcore stuff. You want to see one of those, yeah. I'm sorry, Kenny had a shot at that, and you know what happened with that one, right? Kenny and Mox at Revolution 21. The first one during the pandemic. If you haven't seen it, well, part of a spot, yeah, that got botched horribly. I think that was, and here's the thing: if Tony Khan's not used to it, and you bring up a concept to him, and that's what ends up happening, do you think he's honestly going to look at doing it again? So, if you guys aren't familiar, they are doing the Hard Rock Casino tonight, the theater there in Hollywood, Florida. So it is basically a big concert hall that they're running this show on. Next week, they're at Daly's Place, which is quite normal. I love how they have to do the Timeless Tony Storm's return to Hollywood, Florida. Like casino stage sets they have for double. Yeah, that's cool. Like, I like how they mix things up, but I do like the setup that they have now, depending the one or the two. Well, of course they're going to throw Omega and the Bucks in the opening spot. Jesus. Everybody buckle up right off the bat here. Yeah. Uh-oh, what? All right, Cutler's doing the two entrances they have or had. It was a night. They still do have the two entrances. This should be an interesting entrance, to say the least. Oh, God. Oh, these casino signs is just amazing. Do they have AEW and stream? Yeah, HBO Max. HBO Max is where where they have it in America. In Canada, it's just tsn.ca. You can get it on the Amazon app as well. A gator, a tiger. This is amazing. This is amazing. You pissed it all away at the casino. They're broke again. And they're already in the ring now, too. The broke box. Let's go. Account balance 0.00. Hey, Zodiac. Good to see you tonight. Hope you're doing well. I like the fact that Alexander's getting a pretty future spot here, so. No, how are you guys tonight? How is everybody? Like, I know, Brett, you said you're doing good here. Looking for a little more hardcore out of AEW, which is a little crazy. No, AEW's been doing this for 6 years. I'll be honest, I think I'd have to go back in the records to see when the first time we actually did this. I think it's been 4.5. I don't even remember if I was here for the debut week. No, because I was still working on indie shows at that time. So once the pandemic started, we started doing a little bit more. A lot of OT this week. Hey, it's a week to do it. Just piling in now. Oh, yeah, you guys don't get Thanksgiving this early. It will never go away how much I enjoy watching the Kenny Omega entrance. Oh, twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. It froze up. It's going back and forth here, so. Just threw it in there for you in the. It depends on the time of day. Sometimes Twitch is YouTube's working out great. Sometimes it's not. So. If you're having any problems, I'd recommend stopping by over on the old Twitch machine here. Hey, Brett, just popping right over. Thank you, Last Emperor 02. Oh, God, really, Callus? I'm just going to pin that message just in case. I did get an error warning at the start of the about 3 minutes in. Yeah, Brett, I put 2 and 2 together, but appreciate you. But, no, I got a message just before the show started that there was a stream health error. So it was slowing down a little bit, so. But this should be a lot of fun here tonight. Certain trash talking, just, have a take, don't suck, I believe is a term we use around here. If you're just going to say somebody's terrible for the sake of being terrible, well, if you're not a fan of Omega, that's fine. We all have our faults in life. That's okay. Oh, no, we don't mind trash talking here a little bit. Trust me, we're watching the Yankees implode as we speak here. So. I'll have to say it's pretty exciting. We're getting 2 game 3s tomorrow. Good old. Well, at least the Jacksons know how to do the Macarena. Usually refer to Omega as what calls them to piss off fans on Facebook. You know what? Kenny Omega, honestly, he's an acquired taste for many people. I don't have a Yeah. Oh, no, it's fine. And you know what? Cornette's not going to like the style that Kenny Omega has. It's just the way that he is. He's a different cat. He always has been. He always will be. But that's also what makes AEW different than all the North American promotions, right? And I think the one best example you can have when it comes to why a program like AEW has been so successful for 6 years is the inclusion of different styles, different genres, and one of the biggest examples you can use is Mystico from CMLL. Jesus! Brodido just said, to hell with this. I'm not getting slammed all the time. I'm going to let somebody else do it. Don't like TK, though, but he loves the business to give it a little extra. Well-deserved. Honestly, wait. We're getting Tony Storm and Ty Mello just out of the blue? Let's go. Well, we knew we had to get some more matches in for a 2.5-hour card, but I do have to ask, Brett, no shade on you, just want to know, what do you have against TK? Like, there's a lot of stuff you could do, but basically it's like, are you going to complain that he's a nerd? We're all nerds. I'm just nerdy enough to get in front of a camera and talk about wrestling. And speaking of being nerds, there's a segue for you. If you guys haven't heard, there is a new partnership that's coming up, debuting at New York Comic Con with AEW and DC, which, ironically enough, is probably going to play into a video I keep saying I'm going to put out, but it's close. I just, I haven't edited a video like this before, so just be patient. But they are DC is sponsoring Full Gear this year. So, this is going to be fun. Babe's like a spoiled rich kid. Yeah, and that is totally fair. I'll give you that, Brett, when it comes to the comments on social media the way they were. I do think there's a way to improve yourself, and I think he has improved over the last couple of years. Like, he's going to defend himself. It's not like he's going to just let everybody walk right over him, but Tresto and Shade it. Legends. You know what? When it comes to Bischoff, I simply say this. You got to remember all the factors involved here. And in Bischoff's case, he tried to get a job and they said no thanks. He came in for a couple spots, and then when they didn't want him around anymore, he started talking all this shit about him. And and you got to remember, you say Bischoff about the 10 years. If you aren't familiar, AEW Dynamite has had more episodes than Monday Nitro. So there's a little bit of bitterness on that side from Bischoff, and one thing we're learning right now when it comes to a lot of this stuff, watch out for the source. Just like the source for TSN can't even get the frickin' picture right, and now we've gone straight to commercial instead of picture-in-picture. And we don't even get a full picture-in-picture. We got like, it's an intentional square commercial. Never mind. Nuts! How the hell are you doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. The good old cranky 7-year-old era. Yeah, well, we were talking about TK throwing barbs at Bischoff and Triple H. And honestly, I feel in many ways like the stuff with Triple H, he's pretty much... There's no point in pissing in the wind when it comes to statements like that, right? Like when it comes to the extra booking and whatnot, TK's taking the right approach now compared to before. like before he might have said something and started to cause a little controversy and hype up. He doesn't have to anymore. He lets his show do the talking, and that's probably one of the most important things around. And yes, TK was totally immature back then. But now I feel that, he's watching me in the end of the... How is it going? I got the score bug running up top of the screen here. I've moved a few things around on the screen here, folks, to clean it up a little bit. We're going to be making some subtle changes as we get going here, but yeah, I redid all my overlays and whatnot, so I wanted to make things a little bit more... Yeah, it's still 3-3? Yeah, well, I just turned over just before Dynamite started, so I was wondering if the Yankees were going to hit a home run yet. Too much going in my life to care about TK, who is mostly innocuous, yeah. For me personally, it comes down to, do we have good shows on? And the answer is yes. You can listen to a little bit of the... I think the more banter you hear online, the closer the competition really is between the two. And I don't mean, let's face it. WWE is going to be on that pedestal for years because they have the experience. But in terms of grabbing viewers, I honestly feel the all-out WrestlePalooza weekend brought up, so... Oh, no, you didn't forget to ask. I think this is the first wrestling stream we've done since the TNA. Well, I guess Saturday, but... No, TNA was fun. The venue was really loud, extremely loud. Is it true AEW hired a lot of the old TNA? Well, the TNA production crew was working once every 2 months, so yeah, they did. Like, I think right now in the truck, I think Josh Matthews is the guy in the truck now. Since he's come in, the production's actually gone up quite a bit. There are still foo bars every once in a while, but... the PLE on the app? Yeah, I've seen that happen quite a bit. So, and Cryptic Fantasy, good to see you here tonight. Appreciate ya. Well, honestly, I did video production for from 2015 to 2020. I was doing videos for assorted indie companies around here, so let's just say it's a little bit different than trying to edit your own video for... Oh, God. Well, that's a one way to give a guy a low blow without giving a guy a low blow. Jesus. It is really amazing to check things out here. Kenny flying over the top. And biggest pop of the night is when Kenny chased Callis off. I don't blame him. Chase the bugger out of there. Listening to Busted Open this morning, they had the president of CZW on and said that they're shooting for... All right, let me clarify something for you guys. A lot of people will shoot for weekly shows. Whether it be CZW, OVW's doing that as well. Oh, God. Gonzo bomb and 2 pile drivers. Alexander kicks out. Now, every promotion's going to do something to tape for like a pilot. If you're that big and you want to grow, you have to. It's just, it's honestly, Zodiac, you're lying perfectly. It's the goal of every wrestling company. the ultimate goal is to make as much money as possible, and the most money possible these days is on TV. How you get on that TV, well, there's multiple different ways of doing that. That's why you have streaming services. A lot of the bigger money is in actual TV production, but even then, that's starting to dry up a little bit because what? You're pretty maxed out, right? Because like CZW is going to be shooting for weekly shows, but where are you going to put them? More often than not, when you're taping for weekly shows, it's going to end up being like a Netflix thing. Because taping for TV is really different. Like you gotta time things out differently. Everybody's got an app. Hell, I'm surprised I don't have an app yet. I thought that was a 3, to be honest. Maybe I missed something there, but oh god. All right, you get a kick. You get a kick. You get 2 kicks. And you get an elbow in the face. I love a good Snapdragon suplex. Oh, look out. Did I mention something about production being crap sometimes? Well, that's one of them right there. Don't show when you're doing a Poison Rana the labels right in the head. But watching New Japan would be the best $5 you ever. Yeah, absolutely. And let's face it, you got to be very careful what you're going to do with money these days. I love how Brody was looking for somebody to dive on, nobody there. Drop Netflix? Yeah, Alexander in there to eat the pin as expected. No, like there's a lot of things going on, and then the announcement today that Game Pass is going up, like an extra $9 or something to that, or $8 something to that effect. I'll be honest, I get 3 months to figure it out because for loading up Game Pass every day for like the last 4 months, I've earned enough points, hopefully by the middle of next week, that I'm going to be able to purchase 3 months of Game Pass for free before I have to pay for it. So then I got to decide later. We might even get a hug it out here situation. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're getting our face turned right now. Oh my god, the return of Jurassic Express. The official return. It's funny, Perry in an interview this week said that he wasn't sure if they wanted to go with the Jurassic Express name when they got back together again. But the instant reaction of people singing the song without the song being together, or the song being played over the speaker, sort of solidified it for him. So the Bucks weren't looking. Alexander Perry's beat. Yeah, he is. Never hooked. Are we going to get Omega versus Perry? We might end up getting that at Wrestle Dream. I wouldn't mind that. So is Omega just staying in the ring still? Oh, never mind. He's got a mic. All right, Kenny, what you got to say? I'll get back to the Jurassic Express thing in a bit. I get you. I get you, Nats. Damn. Even had a Brody Lee comment in there. Why'd the lights go out? Why'd the lights go out? Oh shit. Oh shit. What do we got? Look who's back! Oh my god. I guess he liked his booking. I guess he figured out his booking's okay. I guess he figured out his booking's a little better on the other side. This is going to be nuts. It would be Mr. Andrade El Idolo, who just came in to take apart Kenny Omega. And to be perfectly honest, I think he might be a CMLL member, not... Oh, never mind. He wants to get a hug with Callis. Callis wants a hug or a handshake. All right, well... we'll see how it goes. You know what? It's interesting to see how things will go this time. It's a nice pop. It's a great time. But you know what? Like I said, now the fact that AEW is doing a lot more with CMLL than what they were doing the first time when Andrade was around, and the fact that literally AEW wrestlers are going to Mexico every week, he might be featured a little bit more. I can imagine the IWC just roasting this right now. He's a charisma vacuum, but he's part of the Callis family, so he's a mouthpiece, which you need. Yeah. Especially up here. Down south, well, there was a reason that he was in a mask, right? But no, going back to your point, Nats, I got to back up a little bit here. You wanted to talk about Jurassic Express being this 2 kids and a dinosaur gimmick, yeah? Saying he's ugly? No, it's quite often a lot of wrestlers lose their career. Like, not necessarily, how do I put this the best way here? A lot of the charisma, a lot of the je ne sais quoi to put over top wrestlers with the fact that they're in a mask rather than actually. Why do you think Triple H took him out of a mask? Oh, I'm not questioning his looks whatsoever. It's just learning how to find that mystique. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. And that mystique can make up for a lot of shortcomings when it comes to your promo ability, your talent, not necessarily your talent, but definitely your promo ability and your way to work things out. Hear you out? Well, I'm reading you. I'm not hearing you. Andrade Mystico. But yeah, when it comes to... I found it a pretty funny gimmick, Jurassic Express, when they came out. Marco Stunt, I take it or leave it kind of thing for me. They traded Andrade for Edge. Edge is not leaving that. I believe you need to understand this. Adam Copeland's contract. Are you talking about the first trade or the second trade? Because Adam Copeland is under contract for another 12 months. So if that's happening a trade, that's a future considerations for next year. If he ends up getting released, it ends up being all quiet and Edge shows up to face Cena in Washington, all the power to it. I'm more than fine with it. Have fun with it. But from everything we've seen, it looks like this basically has to be a scenario where you're going to have Christian going after Nick Wayne for a while now. And once that feud's done, they're going to resume it back up. Hey, Brett, good to see you back here, my friend. You missed the return of Andrade El Idolo to AEW. He just attacked Kenny Omega. So, yeah. He's getting a second chance here in AEW, and that's going to be an interesting one. Like I said, the IWC will be all over this. I guarantee you they're going to be having issues with this all the like. Oh, Tony Khan's taking a big risk here. Oh, Tony Khan's going to... Life is all about making risks. Andrade is a good fit for it. You know what? As long as his attitude's different than what it was before. And honestly, the biggest thing for me is, can they do this in CMLL? Can they get Andrade down to CMLL? And Nats, you just qualified the reason why. To do MJF versus Andrade up here, now that Andrade's going after Omega, might not be the most opportune thing in the world to do when trying to do a heel-heel feud with those two. Correct. He is the ex-La Sombra. And Triple H thought he was a very handsome man, which I think we honestly all can agree that he was a very very handsome man. He did pick up Charlotte as a wife, though, so you got to have the looks in that department to match up. So the fact that Triple H took him out of the match, like, we were also talking about the fact that, and Zodiac had the perfect word for it. It's mystique. And you didn't have a mystique with Andrade when you had a mystique with... That's why you let me remember that garbage. Ugh. All right. Checking the chat here. How many of you have watched Ric Flair's last match? How many of you have watched that? I remember Bucanero did the standing hurricane right off the turnbuckle, did a little somber. Hey, there you go. Zodiac doesn't want to. I don't blame you one bit. I'll be honest, I bought the pay-per-view because it was Rachel and Deonna for the or Rachel and Deonna were in a triple threat match for the Knockouts Championship at TNA in the time. And instantly 5 seconds into the match, Rachel got her ankle fucked, and yeah, that match went straight to hell in a handbasket, which sort of seems like apropos for a lot of things that happened there. But did it off the turnbuckle onto the floor. Oh shit. Okay. Jacob Fatu. Yeah, absolutely he was. Like, there were a lot of great wrestlers there for that card, and when your son, let's put it this way, when your son-in-law is the one that has to put on a card for you to do your last match because nobody else wants to be liable for you in that match, shouldn't it say something to you? Really want to see Rick's last match because of the old JCP. I get it, and it did feel cool to watch it. Ooh. Never in my while. Nick Gage versus one. They want to make Gunther look like a monster because they're probably going to have Gunther versus Cena to finish things off. That's my prediction on who they're going to have in Washington. That Gunther's going to be the legend killer. Sabbatical. He's going to film a movie in Winnipeg, which is more a punishment than a sabbatical. Here's Batista. Batista won't touch a ring anymore. Way too skinny, but it would be a cool match. And Brett, go ahead. I try to keep things... Let's just say I do reserve the right to not answer just in case. But yeah, non-wrestling questions. Hell, I think one time we ended up... What's the weirdest thing we've talked about here on the storyline here? How would you be able to tell whether you're a nerd or a geek? Chat, feel free to pop in here with this one. Goldberg Fantasy Man. Personal opinion, and it's just mine personally, the difference between a nerd and a geek, for me, a geek usually is knows something about one specific topic, but knows a lot about it. While a nerd is pretty more well-rounded, I think is the best way to put it. Like, for example, oh God. All right. This is making up for a faux pas last week. This is for a faux pas net last week. If you guys are watching right now, they got the media offline signs up for their... They decided to play it up just to try and cover their own ass for screwing up last week. But I still think it's just stupid. But I think to put it in a wrestling aspect, which I think feels a little more comfortable, if you can be an AEW geek or you can be a wrestling nerd. To me, I feel that's the difference. And the more often than not, the reason why I say it's a geek, first of all, I remember Classy Freddie Bassley calling the fans a bunch of pencil neck geeks. And to me, a geek is somebody who will talk shit about a product, not knowing what that product's all about just because they enjoy their product that much. And that's the worst part about being a geek. There are many good things, because if you really like something and you want to learn more about it and you want to stay focused on it, it's absolutely a great thing. I'll have more time for wrestling nerds than I will wrestling geeks. If you use my method of thinking about all that. And I find it really weird that we're going this tangent, but I don't mind it one bit. I appreciate you, Brett, for this. I've always had a theory in here, and I do appreciate everybody being in here. Just a heads up, we're literally 3 months away from me being 15 years in the content creation business in general. Whether it be recording a podcast, whether it be recording wrestling video and that kind of production, or whether it turned into what you see here now in terms of Twitch streaming and YouTube streaming and whatnot. So let's just say I've seen a world of a lot of stuff. Just checking something real quick here, chat. Sorry about that. So, question for you, chat. Being the wrestling nerd that I am and seeing everybody all around. Since we got El Idolo as our big surprise to start the show off, do we get a big surprise to end the show? Like, typically you'd want something to end the show on just as shocking a moment as the opening of the show. Orange seriously trying for the back. Or just try to use everything here. I think the big surprise already happened with El Idolo. Yeah, I honestly feel they usually do them in doubles. Like, I was asking everybody off the start of the stream here today, what is your favorite AEW moment? And my biggest moment was the double entrance at Allin 2021. Where they had Danielson and Cole come out in like 2 minutes from each other. So AEW's not afraid to do these double buy-ins, right? So is the story of the whole match that Orange is going to try and put his hands in his pockets and Kyle's not going to let him? I'm here for it. Don't get me wrong, but my God, do I love that up kick by Fletcher. How smooth he does it compared to anybody else that tries to use it. All right, are we going full commercial again? Oh no, they actually got the picture in. Let's go. Oh yeah, we're same town. Like we're both in Edmonton. Well, Andre lives about an hour north of Edmonton. I live in Edmonton, so I saw him on Friday for TNA. If you didn't get a chance, the TNA Pop Shot episode is available up on our YouTube channel right now. Just dropped yesterday morning. And yeah, we had a fun time. I actually sat right in the as far up in the bleachers as humanly possible. Oh yeah, I know Bobby. I know all the OLE guys. I know Ed. I know Bobby. Astrid actually has a show here, Women's Wrestling Showcase. If she and then Melball started over here. Now she's predominantly over at OLE. So, well, it's funny. Yeah, there's a bit of a community there. Like we know each other, and I'll admit myself personally over the last few years, I've been keeping to myself for the most part here. Andre and I are the OGs over here. Backbreaker, like we started Backbreaker as a different name way back in 2015. So we literally are celebrating 10 years of that here this year. So we were covering the indie scene, and then in 2020 I sort of moved on as soon as COVID happened. I went from producing wrestling content to switching more to a gaming area, and then 8-Bit Hall of Fame. Well, we do list the 8-Bit Hall of Fame during the breaks and interludes here. I will have to find some lo-fi music for after the stream here, because we are doing... For those that aren't familiar, we do a WWE 2K25 My GM mode online every Wednesday after Dynamite. And myself, Zodiac, PJC, and Vic from the Heels, Pops, and Chair Shots podcast, we're all doing... it's our Season 3 draft. We're getting into the muck and the myrrh here. Zodiac's running away for everything right now. So we are going to have to find a way to catch up. Unpopular pick. It's not really a popular. I love that movie. I got it both in VHS and DVD. And yes, I do have a VHS player. I am that old. No, I'm into those kind of movies. Ready to Rumble, The Replacements, Major League. I feel they're all in the same sort of bubble, right? Just stupid fun. Somebody at the IWC gets riled up when you say, we don't get riled up over that stuff here. I think a few of us can. I think Orange Cassidy forgot to renew his Adobe subscription. Nice. And I think Zodiac talked about it earlier. We're too busy to give a crap about, having the IWC getting riled up over such stupid stuff. Just a fun movie for a Friday night or a weekend afternoon. Yeah, absolutely. Trust me, my favorite type of movie personally is the one where you can just put your brain in neutral and just enjoy. You're really going to put his hands in his pockets for him? You do realize that's like a superpower for him, right? Jimmy King, the four-corner headbutt. I will crown you. And the fact that one time I got caught in a septic truck that ended up flipping over, but like ended up opening up when it wasn't supposed to. So, well, folks, now you're seeing why we got to do Title Tuesday next Tuesday. So, yeah, just a reminder, we will be here next Tuesday. I'll see if I can try to find a way to do both, to watch both at the same time. I'll probably end up pulling out my iPad and maybe doing it that way. Might be able to figure it out. When David Arquette gets angry at his dad and yells, "Wrestling is not fake." That was me when hey, you know what? That's fair. As Fletcher absolutely destroys Cassidy right there. Jesus. Oh, somebody's screwing up on the audio. Somebody had some audio issues with their headset. So yeah, SRS just brought up a unique point here. And it's something I really do enjoy by TK. He doesn't care about the politics BS. He actually had Cody Rhodes and CM Punk both included in the AEW 6th anniversary reel. Wish I would have picked that up earlier myself, but... Oh, God, don't bring up time limit, please. As soon as somebody brings up time limit, I'm always like, yeah, no, there's 20 minutes. Want to watch AEW? Honestly, the AEW product over the last 6 months, like we've been watching it for years, right? And honestly, over the last 6 months, it has really hit a fever pitch. Like realistically, I don't know if there's been the only real complaint you can have about some of these shows is a little oversaturation because of it. And that's what a lot of people have problems with when it comes to AEW. The fact there's just so much to take in. Oh my God, he got him up at a... Oh God, that was awesome right there. Kick out at 2. That was a hell of a counter by Fletcher. But no, and the thing that I think is amazing if you watch more than anything else, like there are a lot of people out with injury right now. Let's not even kid ourselves. The biggest ones, of course, being Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. But the roster is so damn deep, it's just It's a lot of people that people don't know about, and that's the thing in many ways. And Kyle Fletcher has asserted himself into that next level star too. So I had a discussion with someone at OVW chat or some other chat. Russo's WC. You know what? If you like that type of wrestling, I would consider it great. I'll be honest. The whole Attitude Era as a whole, like, I would highly recommend if you get a chance. If you haven't listened to it yet, the Attitude Era podcast. I believe it's AE Podcast on socials. They actually covered every single pay-per-view during the Attitude Era and really showed you how much it was really good or really bad. And honestly, a lot of it was interesting to say the least. Just look up on your podcast providers. That's not hologram. That's not hologram. You can see the red tights. That's not hologram. Just look up on all your podcast platforms, Attitude Era Podcast. Ruthless are great, yeah. This is how you This is our second debut, folks. That ain't hologram. That ain't hologram. Hologram's got to come out and straighten this out. Yes, El Clone. Callis, what are you doing? Or is he literally just... Oh, God. That wasn't all... There it is. El Clone. Because of the injury, they had to skip the entire storyline and just bring him out. The hell? Did somebody just lose the production value or what? No, this wasn't even close to the debut they wanted. So we got El Idolo, we got El Clone. Are we going to get El Americano? El Luchador? El Jefe? So now they're bringing up the El Idolo. I take Ludwig Kaiser at 8. That's my response to that. Surprised he didn't use the mask as a now we got a guy behind them saying MJF did nothing wrong. What a dirtbag. You got ads? It says not on for 7 minutes. Looks like Renee's dressing up either for Oktoberfest or Wednesday Addams, one or the other. Okay. Love when Mercedes wears new color gear. So many rhinestones, too, you know. Oh my God, the Yankees won. People are going to be upset. It's Sin Cara versus Sin Cara all over. No, this will be done properly. Do you see El Clone and Hologram's undefeated streaks? No, because Hologram is injured. He is injured for a while. That's why this intro to him was so lame. Harley's not going to fight. But if he's healthy, maybe. So, so if he's healthy, he might be the one to stop the streak. It would make a lot of sense for that. It really sucks that they had the setup the way that it is. But you can't help it, right? Like, you could tell where the match was supposed to end. Or how it was supposed to end going forward, right? With having Hologram get crotched on the rope. They literally did the finish the exact same way they were going to do with Hologram on this one, so. But here's a question for you, chat, and this really could be a crazy one to answer. Who comes out to take on Mercedes Moné next week? Who takes on Mercedes Moné? Because it has to be a Floridian. Like Zodiac, I'm assuming you're going out there? Okay, I'm not going to lie. That's a sick walkway through. Hey, you know what? This is the Hard Rock Cafe. You're going to have some good views. Or the Hard Rock Casino, sorry. You thinking about it, Zoe? All right, well, I know you said you weren't going to be able to make these shows, but, you can make a special exception when you got to go for that title, right? The first thing you do when you do you take over TBS, you make sure you get it available in Canada, so, we make it cheaper up here. But, so I had to throw that in there. But here's the thing. NXT is located in Florida. I know this sounds crazy because I keep bringing it up. And we might even need to go into a diatribe about this sometime, and we've talked about this many times. As much as she's from Pittsburgh, she lives in Florida now. Like, Britt's still under contract. Britt got a real bad taste in her mouth after that last match these two had. Could you imagine if they make it up by putting on a clinic on Title Tuesday? Not saying, just saying. But who would you think would be the person from Florida that they would be looking at? Because off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody on the roster that's from Florida. Unless they got somebody new. I would think you'd have to go with somebody new on this one. And the not counter program, but counter program for AEW could be a debut. Either a debut or a return. Knowing Tony Khan, he's going to announce it tomorrow, but it's always fun to speculate before. Hey, Mr. Vic, how you doing here tonight, sir? Seems like you got a little bit to talk about on the show tomorrow already tonight. Have you watched Dynamite so far, or are you still catching up? And if you're just catching up, do you want spoilers? Oh, by the way, did any of you guys, I know we're not talking NBA right or WNBA right now, but did you guys see Nafisa Collier's little statement in front of the press earlier this week? I think it was yesterday. Digested the Shanky victory over my Sox. All right, well, Andrade El Idolo's back in the company. Attacked Kenny Omega after they won the opening contest with Brodido against the Bucks, who are now the Broke Bucks, according to their little name card, and Josh Alexander. So El Idolo's debuted, and he's now a member of the Don Callis family, number 740. I want to know who has more members. Don Callis, and he's got another one too on top of that, so just hang on. Is it Don Callis or is it Athena with her minions? I want to know who has more people in their group. That is a legit question at this point. Because we also had Kyle Fletcher Callis' GM? No. But Callis actually has brought in El Clone. With Hologram going down to injury last week, they actually just incorporated El Clone into the storyline for this match, where he's wearing a hologram mask and came out to the ring and interfered on behalf of Fletcher. Interesting how they're showing blood and guts in front of the Moxley match instead of in front of the mixed tag match specifically. Question for you, chat. Do we get 2 blood and guts matches on the 12th of November? Personally, I want the women's one and that's it to give them the spotlight. But hell, if you're gonna, it could be good for one, good for the other, right? But no, Callis is not the GM unless he's the GM of the Yankees right now. I just find it amazing. Tomorrow we have 3 game 3s for baseball if you're following. And if the Reds pull off a miracle, we're going to get 4. And these are best of 3 series. Personal belief, personal wish. I hope Sox Yankees goes 24 innings and every pitcher gets used, including the extra starters. So on Saturday, they literally got to bring out a position player to pitch the whole game. Samoa Joe literally going after the eyes consistently throughout this. What the hell? With all due respect, Samoa Joe and many... All the pictures is... Hey, you know what? I'm fine with it. I'll be a heel. Fight. If I had it my way, there'd be like a time limit, like a curfew that you have to be done by, and you could the game would be tied by then, so you'd have to pitch the next day too. And then right after the game, you fly to Toronto for Saturday. And if that happens, I volunteer to have the Blue Jays game be the early game. But honestly, if tomorrow, if the Yankees do not win, Aaron Boone gets fired. I'm calling it right now. My God, Joe is so smooth. He is absolutely one of the smoothest wrestlers, period. Really, Garcia, you're going to try and get in there with Paige? So, have you guys read the article from Sammy Guevara talking about this week where he talked about how he didn't want to do that 4 Pillars match at Double or Nothing 2022? Going with Guevara, Garcia, Perry, and or Guevara, Garcia, Darby, and MJF. Said it was an absolute bad idea. TLDR? Forgive me for being a little off. All my Shanky fan friends blaming Boone for game 1. They'll blame Boone for everything. They blame Boone if it's raining outside. He basically begged Tony Khan to hold it off till later. I get. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I actually Googled it right now because, I'm trying to be a little bit more hip. Basically, he went through the interview. The biggest thing he brought up was the fact that he thought it was a real dumb idea to do it now. Maybe do it when all four guys are a little more established and try and run it when, you actually know who your four pillars actually are. Because you remember at the time when that four pillar story came out, there was more talk about Baker being the fourth pillar than a lot of those guys involved. Yeah, we know, Bray. We're here. We saw it live, so yeah, he flipped back and forth, and honestly, let's see how it goes. Just straight up, the pillar talk felt forced, absolutely, and like we were saying, Baker's the one that obviously turned around and said, like, she really is the pillar of the women's division, so, and that's where he went with that, but. We were talking about it earlier here with Andrade, Bray. With the fact that they're using a lot more CMLL, what the heck? The Gates of Agony versus the Swirl. That's gonna be a walk. With CMLL's involvement with AEW, I think Andrade might be a little bit more successful if he gets to work with both. But yeah, in terms of the pill, like, Tony Khan in that stretch was really just trying to force whatever he could, trying to make up for some of the shortfalls that he had in the company. And I think a lot of it was just a hard stop to say, look, we got to develop some of these guys in general. And now look at the roster for everybody that's been built up, right? Looks like Collision. Possibly. I got to double check on that. They are taping Collision Thursday. I know that. I don't know whether they're actually showing it on Thursday. Because I don't think AEW has a pay-per-view, right? Hey, Logan. Rumors say Sari might show up tonight. It would make sense, having Sari maybe be the opponent for Tony Storm. And maybe that's why we're holding off. And yeah, like, we're talking about getting debuts, and there's been a lot of crazy stuff coming up this week. But yeah, Bray, we'll find out on Saturday for sure when they're showing it. Because AEW usually announces when they're doing their shows. Like, truth be known, this week they are. I was wondering when is. Just trying to remember, when is Crown Jewel? Is that next? Is that next Saturday? Because depending what time that's on, that actually might move it to Thursday. There's a possibility, but now with hockey season coming up, you really don't know what's going on. Was there a collision on Monday this week? No. The only collision on Monday that I could think of was, well, Roman Reigns connecting with chairs. So yeah, I'll let you guys know on Saturday what we're doing next week for Crown Jewel next Saturday, 6 a.m. my time. So don't feel bad about the 8 a.m. Yeah, it probably was a replay. All I know is the Penguins could beat the... Probably. Sorry, Brett. The one thing you get caught on. My fandom in hockey here at Edmonton has died a little bit after they they essentially hired a general manager who allowed his trainer to go after little boys. Without any sort of admittance or repentance or anything like that. So you could try to throw a shot at me about the Oilers. I just don't care enough. I know a lot of people wish they're successful. I'm just, all right, good enough for you. Yeah, no, just a reminder, next week, AEW is running on Tuesday. Look up Stan Bowman, Chicago Blackhawks. Do yourself a favor. You'll get all the details yourself. I don't need to. Oh, no, it's fine. Trying to get you oiled up over Florida's official sport.
Sir, no, sir!
I'm just going to throw. We have a standard Floridian here, so. Oh, no, you don't have to get off the Oilers. I don't really, like, it's not something I'm really. I don't divert it off. Okay. Florida's hockey country. I will repeat once again.
Sir, no, sir!
I cannot defend that soundbite due to the fact that the last 5 championships have gone there, but I will only defend that out of the World Cup. So far, AEW's confirmed that Darby Allin versus Moxley will be a wrestle. Yeah. It's all right, Bray. We know. We know. We've been watching every Dynamite and Collision here as a group for a while here, Bray. So Florida is definitely a hockey state.
You told some of the biggest lies that I've ever heard of in my whole life.
What can I say? I would love to see Claudio pin Page just so we can get a shot at the pay-per-view. Yeah, and Moxley and Allin, like, they've already had a... Like, hell, at All Out, Moxley was set on fire for Pete's sake. So an I Quit match is actually the most apropos match for both those guys. Because it makes you wonder what they're actually going to do that. And that's why you're doing it at the pay-per-view, Brett. So I guarantee you that I Quit match between those two would never be making it on TV. Chad, there's a good question for you. Which wrestler would you say has the best backbreaker? I would say Hobbs is starting to get into that level of that. All the youth that grow the ice skate are many lakes brings tear to your eyes. I would say personally Hobbs has the best spine buster right now. I'm still going to go with the Messiah, the backbreaker, Roddy Strong, for how many different ones he can do. And Claudio eats the pin. Damn. Oh yeah, I threw those on there for you guys now. We're going to work on... I'm going to work on getting the actual graphics changed a little bit, but at least I have it on there. Thank you for the hydrate, sir. And a posture check as well. I'm glad to see they're working. That's the thing. Like I said, I've changed a few things up. I'm trying to add a few things. Got the pad fixed on the back, so we're good there. Oh, you made me annoyed. I kind of figured, but you know what? If it goes too crazy, I will work on a cooldown. That's all. Ooh. Oh, here we go. 174,000 points. Do you mean I have to raise my scales a little bit? Folks, it looks like we found our title match. Oh, here comes Jerry. Is Jerry Lynn going to fight for the TBS title? He looks like he should be in a Florida retirement home. Oh, yeah, this is definitely our Wrestle Dream main event. We have super buff old people. Well, see Jerry without a shirt on. He's pretty buff. All right, well, yeah. This is pretty much guaranteed. We're getting a title shot out of this. So, yeah, we still got one more hour yet, so. Both ladies' matches in the last hour. Who do you think to win the title? Actually, Mercedes does defend the titles quite often. Just it's the local promotions, right? She doesn't defend them all on AEW TV. Like, she is working an indie schedule, to say the least. And you got to remember, a lot of those titles that she has, the promotions want her to walk around with their title. So at least when people look for what title she has, they look up the promotions that are with her. So, like, there's one out of Italy that's brand new that she throws in there. Like, people are going to check out these brands. They're going to check out where is Mercedes going with these. Where'd she get this one from? So, I don't think Mercedes should win the title. I'm still going on the bet of TJ. Right now, that's what I'm going with. We're going to have to see whether they do a C2 or are they doing a just a straight they're going to do a straight knockout tournament or what for it. We'll have to see. In my opinion, I would love to see the C2 be women's tags for this year, just to show how many different teams they do have. Bring in some teams from some other companies. Bring in a CMLL team. Bring in a Stardom team. Hell, bring in an MLW's team. We're seeing MJF hanging out in MLW now more. So there could be a possibility there's a bit of a working agreement there too. Not that MLW has a big women's division, but I do know there's people that are there, right? Would this match coin Andrade versus Bandito? Well, I think it will with the proper build-up. Or Cook. Oh, absolutely it will. That would be insane. Personally, I would like to see it on ROH pay-per-view just to give ROH that notoriety there. But if you're not going to do it there, do it in CMLL. AEW, yes, it will be a great match, but there are great matches on everything in AEW. Like, the biggest problem we don't have right now is good matches. Like, good matches are sort of par for the course when it comes to AEW at this point. It's more about what are you booking and how are you booking it, right? So, no, I'm just, yeah, there's just so many good matches to follow up right now, and they're literally going to do Samoa Joe and Adam Page when we don't even think we needed it. Could WWE buy the TNA? Well, honestly, I don't want to speculate too much on the business part, but it almost feels like that's sort of the way it's going a little bit. But when you see the show the way that we did here in Edmonton on Friday, for those are just popping into the chat, I was in attendance for Victory Road this past Friday. So you could tell that there's a little bit of WWE influence, but not much. Outside of the ring. Like inside the ring, the storylines that, yeah, we all know what's going on there. Outside of the ring, the merch table literally had 2 Hardy shirts, one Joe Henry's customized shirt for Edmonton, and the rest were TNA's.
What the hell is that?
Blue Andre, you shook hands. Supposed to... Yeah, you did. There it is. They just announced it. Samoa Joe, Adam Page, world title. Ooh. That coming out of Adam Page, that goes to different levels. And here comes Tony. Tony Storm. Tony Storm. She gonna wrestle in a trench coat? It's so weird because I'm so used to just calling Toni Storm the world champion, and now she's not. Yeah, Bray, if you didn't hear, Andrade is not the only member of the Callis family that was introduced today, as El Clone is now official member of the Callis family as well. Could you imagine if Ty wins this one just for the momentum she would get off this? All right, this is going to be a fun match regardless, so as we just hit the ad break, I forgot to add the ad timer on there, so. I think this might be Ty's first singles match back since becoming a mother. First or second? She's done tags, but she hasn't done much for singles work. Well, this crowd's still over with Tony. Oh, that's right. Folks, don't forget. Look on AEW's website, looking for future events on Valentine's Day. We got AEW Grand Slam in Australia. Yeah, the House Rules is an untaped show. Yeah, they did announce Grand Slam for Australia on Mother's Day or Valentine's Day. But yeah, there won't. So just a reminder, folks, I'll be here an hour early on Saturday, so which means we'll be done an hour earlier on Saturday. We are also going to run the Bad Blood pay-per-view for my GM solo run after the show, so make sure you stick around for that as well. So, but no, Bray, AEW has run these House Rules shows. They're untaped. There's no footage of them. It's just the wrestlers getting to put out a good card. Like WWE will do the house shows, but they will tape them and they will use them for anything extra that they need. AEW literally, they're already on the way out, so. Yeah, there's rumors that it might possibly be a double Blood and Guts. That we both get the male and the female. I hope not. I hope we do get a mix of both. I do hope that we get the women to get the spotlight for once. Like, after this year, after the female Blood and Guts, personally, you can do two in one night. But this one, give it to the women. Let them show off what they can do. Because realistically, with a lot of the violence that the women do in their match, they might out-bloody the men. They might get more vicious than the men. Like, have you seen the street fights that the women put on in AEW? Like, the Rampage specials. Every year on New Year's Rampage, and Ty Mello was always in the middle of that. Like, I almost guarantee you Ty's going to be part of Blood and Guts. I honestly think both of these ladies are going to be part of Blood and Guts on the good people side. The face side, as you will. But, yeah, because you could have these two. You have Anna Jay. Love Harley and Mercedes. There's just such an odd couple. And I really don't want... I don't want... Like, can Mercedes win the tag title? Sure, I'd love to see it. Would I love to see Harley get a title? Absolutely. Have you seen both editions tonight, Vic, or just the one? Like, honestly, Don Callis is running a Bobby Heenan family. That's what he's doing. A whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of different area. You just saw him on stage. Okay, yeah, so. Yeah. Like, always remember, the biggest feud in the 80s never had anything to do, like we talked about this before, the biggest feud in the 80s had nothing to do with physical contact. Maybe the odd time. But you had Bobby Heenan and Hulk Hogan. That was the biggest rivalry of the 80s. But there's somebody there for every division. There's somebody there for every title. Do I think they're going to win the titles? No. Are there under characters in every match? Or every group, yes. And you got guys like Rocky Romero and Trent. That could be that group there. You got Josh Alexander as your heater. But you have a bit of a feeling that this trip to Florida is a real business trip for AEW. And I say that because I expect some special surprises coming up. And Vic, now that you've seen the promo with Harley and Mercedes, who do you think is going to be challenging Mercedes for the TBS title? Because I've already said my piece. Because she said it's somebody who lives in Florida. Why do we have GOA versus the Swirl? It's like heel. We're getting a heel tag match. No idea. I never guessed AEW Mysteries ever. I still feel that a doctor might see her now. I still got that feeling in my gut. She's in Florida now. Triple H would be very upset in 2K25. Ooh. I think it's either that or a debut, because you got to remember AEW is going, like, as much as they don't admit it, they are going up against Showdown. Sorry, I was going to say Invasion, but apparently, no, we're not going there. We're not going there. They switched to a Showdown. You guys go look why. Brits from PA. No, but Mercedes listed it very carefully. She's said she wanted somebody from Florida. So, you want somebody who lives in Florida. Unless they're bringing Jade back.
No.
Not that that hasn't brought any discourse this week.
Please, no.
I know, it has been nice to see Tay Mello here. Like, this is Ty's, I believe, first or second singles match since being back on the roster. Uh-oh. Tony's getting on the mic. This could be... I still feel we're going to get another... Like, Logan brought it up earlier. There's a possibility that there's somebody that shows up. Hey, Brett. Good to see you back again. Hey, Michael. Thank you for the compliment. Appreciate you. Thanks for popping in here tonight. Shut up with your goddamn what chance, you stupid sons of... Fuck these guys. So, seriously. That's one of the few things that'll set me off. I love that the fans are starting to turn on the Waters. Anna Jay is in front. Well, she's from Georgia. South Georgia. Fair enough. I'm not a geography major of the States. So they're going to get the one-on-one rematch? I don't know about that. Oh, shit. Here we go. Eddie versus Jalistico. Oh, yeah. We got to get an Eddie promo in tonight. I thought... I love how this is supposed to be Jalisco talking, but it's Sammy. Sammy's never known how to speak Spanish. That's actually one of the biggest jokes, that Sammy calls himself the Spanish God but doesn't know a lick of Spanish. But I do like the fact that Sammy is a sort of a spokesperson for LFI. Rouge can speak well enough by himself, but Sammy can get into some promo battles without an issue. And, well, the Beast, well, unless you're talking legal speak, he can't do anything to help you out right now. And then, and Jalistico, well, being a mass wrestler, once again, it's the El Idolo effect. Does he say a lot? In some ways, it reminds me a lot of Ivy Nile. And I know I shouldn't bring up a WWE reference on it, but I'm going to anyway. Ivy Nile is one of the most technically gifted wrestlers in the women's roster in WWE right now. But the fact, if you hear her talk, and just the way her voice is, there's a reason why she doesn't talk a whole lot. Kingston will talk you into the building. He is one of the very few that is left that every time he talks. Some wrestlers will have a hit and miss, but every time Kingston talks, he will get you in the door. Kingston will sell tickets with his voice. The other guys, every once in a while, they'll hit a promo that just, what? Huh? Just gets everybody so confused about stuff, so. But yeah, so this is normally where the main event is, but we still got another half hour, just so you guys remember. Then immediately following that, Vic, you're ready to go. PJC, I think, will be here after he takes care of his kids. And Zodiac, I know you're chomping at the bit because, you're number one right now. I'll get the Xbox fired up as quickly as you can, and we will get into WWE 2K25. My GM mode. We are entering the third season now. I've never gotten this far. Just doing You're doing okay. I believe PJC is the one that does the remote play. Maybe get a hold of him if you wanna work on that. And I should have to now, after everything that's gone on, I'll have to check with you guys if you want. Still anyone's game. You're really gonna have to drag your ass a few weeks for us to catch up. There's only one way I'm gonna catch up, and I've already thought about it, so. Because I don't want to be in the living room. Hey, I don't blame you. The funny part for me is I live in a one-bedroom apartment. This is my living room, my office, My kitchen's back there. I'm just. Actually, dream set, yeah. Oh my. Just as me. Yeah. Lived 2 years where my bedroom and my living room were the same thing. That's fair. This is our second graphic for a Wrestle Dream now. Hangman Adam Page, Samoa Joe, AEW World Title. And unfortunately, they're doing a night pay-per-view, so. Like, I know tonight's a little bit smaller for the. Hobbs versus Hangman would have been more fun to be on. Yeah, well, it's because it's something different, right? And you know what? We might still get that. Basically, it all started because Hangman passed his title to or passed Joe's title to him, and he dropped it because it's one of those put on your hand on your chest and then you let go and he just drops it. And Joe got all pissy, and now it's Hangman has never beaten Joe, so Hangman wants to prove it unto himself. And with Joe, it's. Yeah, this is all tonight. That was all after that 6-man tag. The Swirl literally get no intro tonight. Gosh dang it. Ah, Ricochet. Ricochet dumping on Danielson. Danielson throws a compliment, and Ricochet turns quick. Yeah, I got a feel tonight it's going to be a little bit different for the result. It just, this crowd is absolutely dead for this match. Like, you got two people here, we're supposed to boo both of them. Like, you couldn't find a face team for these two to beat? Even some local enhancement talent? I'm sure there's a performance center around here you could do some, right? Well, I guess if you're going to take on somebody, this is the guy to take on, right? Christian getting some offense in here. I like to see that. Oh, God. Yeah, Christian's dead. But Vic, we've been asking everybody as they pop in here. And Chad, if I missed you, I apologize. Feel free to chime in yourself. What is your favorite AEW moment so far in the past 6 years? Because as we're going through these 6 years, there's been a lot of great memories. There's been a lot of great matches. Like, personally, for me, like, the St. Patrick's Day Lights Out match, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, was absolutely freaking amazing to me. The first time we got to see Sting and Darby work together in the pandemic with the, what do you call those? The artificial matches, the comic book type matches that we got going on now. The pandemic, it brought so many great things, but bad things. You know what's funny, Vic? At the beginning of the stream when I brought mine up, that's exactly what I thought of. That moment when Adam Cole was announced, came down a couple minutes. You know, you get that adrenaline pop for the announcement, then you bring yourself down just a little bit as it sort of settles in about what's going on. Then all of a sudden you get the other music come up and you're gone. And I was in the middle of a bar when that happened. Love it more than, well, Punk's was sort of like a foregone conclusion kind of thing. And with Cole and Danielson, going into that pay-per-view, you sort of had a feeling it was going to be one or the other. Not in a million years did anybody expect both in the same damn segment. Because I remember that night we were actually, we were still sponsored by Beercade. And when the first announcement of Cole came out, everybody was cheering, but then everybody was getting their coats and in their vehicles. Some people were halfway down the stairs, then all of a sudden they hear Danielson's music come up. Next thing you know, you got a pile of people just flying back upstairs to take a look. Like, don't ever leave a wrestling event early. You never need to leave a wrestling event early because you never know what's going to happen. It's one of those things that you just don't do. But in terms of debuts, like, those are some of the best. Having Statlander come out of that arcade machine in the Arcade Anarchy match. When Statlander returned from injury there, that was, what was it, Kip Sabian, Orange Cassidy, or Mirror Orange Cassidy, one or the other. But just having the camera cut away and Penelope's all cheering, and then she turns around, looks in the glass, and sees Statlander's there. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm really surprised this match is going as long as it is. They are trying to give a little bit more respect to the swirl on this, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, okay, no, we're good. Bishop went for the second rope duck instead of the top rope duck. Uh-oh, look out. Sneak it out, sneak it in. Johnson firing himself up. Got to get that Johnson in gear, right? Sorry, easy one there. Toa just ate a ring post. Oh, God. And Christian's dead. No, this is the end of it. Hip attack, knee attack, going up, going down. Yeah, we're done. Why are you bringing Christian in to do the same thing? Oh no, Hidden Blade. Oh, Spirit Gun, sorry. Ah, here we go. All right, MVP looking very suave, along with Bobby Shelton. Shirt's a little crinkle, my friend. I'm only saying this from like 4,000 miles away. He's right here. He is the most fly-looking gentleman in the building. Of course, MVP knows every area code in the area. MVP thought he was going to get a full chant. He only got one until he stopped. They muted his mic. That is amazing. No. No, you haven't lost a step. Jacksonville street fight? Nice toss. This is going to be fun. We'd be thugging in Duval. I would love to see them end up on the Jacksonville field. I want to start the beginning of the night with a feud. Let it go out to the field. Let them go at it. Cut to another match. Just say we don't have any cameras for it. We'll come back later. What is that on Stat's face? You gotta love Harley just popping in everywhere. You talk to my manager, try to get some PTO next week to go to one of these events. If you get a shot, like, I would say Tuesday be the best one to go to. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, that's like one of those jewelry pieces. I'm like, what the hell? There you go. Match number 3 now. Statlander and Storm 1-on-1. Uh-oh, Alicia. Who you got? Tuesday's pool night, so I'd have to go to Dynamite. Dynamite is on Tuesday. That's why I'm like, you might have to go to Collision then. Collision's being taped on Wednesday this week, I do believe. Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, something like that. Oh my God, here we go. We got an implosion coming. Callus, you're an idiot. Callus isn't anyone. Alicia, 2 Friedman, they always get it wrong. I'll just give you a point for that. I don't think anybody wants, they wouldn't want to admit to be married to him, but she does for some reason. But as we're heading into our main event, once again, I want to give you guys a little bit of a rundown about what we're going to be doing for the next week here. Stick around after on the Twitch channel as we are going to be drafting season 3 of WWE 2K25 My GM mode. We'll see how far we get and see we maybe be able to get a couple weeks in. We're going to try to we'll get our rosters in. We got to think about what's going on here and whatnot. So tomorrow morning we will be here with Horizon Forbidden West. I did a little over the last 2 days. I put 20 hours into the damn game, so I'd say that's vacation time well spent. But we're gonna see how close we can get to possibly getting the end game here for it. No stream Friday, Saturday. Remember, early start time of 7 p.m. Eastern with AEW Collision. Collision followed by our Bad Blood solo run on my GM. So we could talk about wrestling times, all this crazy stuff going on. No stream Sunday because the Bills are playing the Patriots. Go Bills, Bills Mafia forever. Next Monday, we are going to be here. Snuffle Thrills right now are 5-4 and fighting for our playoff lives. And we basically have to run the gauntlet of some of the best teams in the league. So we are going to have to see if we're mathematically still in it. And then, of course, next Tuesday, we will be here. AEW Dynamite, Title Tuesday. We're going to have NXT on in the background, see what's going on. I like to see how they counter-program each other. So make sure you stop by, say hello. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the follow button or subscribe button. If you're on Twitch, make sure you hit the follow button if you haven't already. And more importantly, tell all your friends. Let them know where we're at. Tell them they can join us too. It's always a fun time. But more importantly, more than anything else, thank you for being here. Always appreciate you. And wouldn't be able to do this without any of you here. So thank you once again. And yeah, we'll get to our main event here right away. Andrade Bandito. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier in the chat here. Andrade Bandito, I want to see that as a Ring of Honor match. Because I will sell some Ring of Honor subscriptions. And then you also have the possibility of running that match in CMLL. I wouldn't be against that either. Now let's see if Stat wrestles in that thing on her face. Did Andrade ever wrestle Takeshita? I do believe they fought in the C2. Because that was that killer pool, right? Right before he left the first time. Andrade and Takeshita, I think that was one of the fun. Oh, sorry, folks. I was moving over my stream deck and it hit the outro music. Yeah. I'm not leaving. Yeah, I think they've had one match against each other. I got a feeling either Wrestle Dream or Full Gear. I would say more likely you're looking at Full Gear for Takeshita and Okada. Stat getting out there like could you imagine Statlander not being able to talk for as long as she did? She was the world's greatest alien. Watch Nakamura and Andrade and NGPW. I wonder what's going on with I wonder what they're doing with Nakamura right now. Is he running this week and then just saying to hell with it? Because WWE is running New Japan either. I think they do it will probably be released. Yeah, like I'm thinking it'll probably be. Well, Nakamura will be on that card. I'm thinking in 2 weeks after. Oh Jesus! Free Nakamura, amen. Do I think Nakamura be arrested? I don't know. I think they put a 90-day on it, so there won't be a chance of that. I don't even know what his contract is, so I can't really tell. If they release him, there'll definitely be a 90 days, so you won't see him there. Trying to rake the eyes and Stats just said the hell with that. Highly doubt they'd send. Well, if they were going to send him to Noah, they already would have. I say Statlander chokes out Wheeler or pins Wheeler out of this. Marina doesn't get pinned. Stat going to Hunger Fan. That is not very safe. But sometimes you feel it. I love the fact that they have to have 2 referees out there because, falls could happen pretty much anywhere. Which one, Nats? I'll be God honest. I was on my PlayStation most of yesterday. I missed a lot of announcements. Like that Nafisa Collier promo. Kayla sent it to me later. I got a chance to watch the full thing this morning. Hey, you know what? It happens. He's also works for school. Like, I do believe he works as a teacher on the side. And this takes, like, honestly, for the amount of work he puts into it, you need the time to be able to do it. And yeah, he doesn't have time to. This time of year is always so much more hectic. If he was in Alberta, he'd have a lot more time because apparently teachers are going on strike on Monday. So, but no, you know what? Mental health is probably the most important thing in the world for all of us. And I say probably with the fact he's only doing the EFED. And you know what? An EFED, in many ways, once it's set up, it'll be easier to do, right? Figured it out before the... Ah, boy. Nice work. Oh, my God. So, I just had this pop by here. This comes sort of related, Nats. You'll go look for this when you got time here. You go throw it in Rez's stream. Yankees second baseman got over game one loss by playing an MLB The Show and mercied someone's ass. That's literally what he said in the post-game interview. So, if you guys didn't hear, the Yankees won today, so there is, well, sorry to bring up a bad wound there, Vic, but there's at least 3 game threes going on tomorrow, elimination games for MLB. Reds are up 2-0. Let's go. All 4. Oh, wrong one. This one. Damn, that's awesome. I would love to see all 4 series go 3 games. They should ask him what he's going to play after the game. Yeah, well, I can imagine he'll be playing a few things if he ends up losing, but like I said, I just want a lot of pitchers used. I don't care who wins. Sox versus Jays or Yankees versus Jays is going to be a hell of a series regardless. So, but no, getting into wrestling here, like just watching this match devolve into absolute craziness. The way LA opened that series, I don't want to be any team that advances to the World Series. Yeah, but the thing is, they're a number 3 seed. You got to remember that. They got to go through a murderer's row to get there. And I will say this right now. I do believe the Phillies are a team that can take LA down quite easily. See, the Hardys were on that Twitch stream. I didn't see it. I don't follow the Hardys that much. I'm not the hugest fan of them. I was never a fan of that style of wrestling to begin with. Oh, Jesus. They're reminding everybody in the crowd that she's number one. Maybe put Matt on blast for botching her shout out. And Wheeler just dumped Darby into a bunch of... Jesus. All right, well, this will be a little bit of crazy. Well, a boop on the nose leads to a soup. Oh, gee. No, Nats, they already announced that this is a 2.5-hour show today. So it's not an overrun. It's we're already going over half an hour, so we're just gonna make sure we announce it early. Yeah, they announced it last Wednesday that it was going to be a 2.5-hour spectacle. I think Darby hit that worse than Yuta. So yeah, that's why I try to remind everybody that next week it's on Tuesday. Everybody in NXT is reminding you that AEW is on Tuesday. I love the free advertising they're giving. So apparently they don't have anything to hook up to Blue Sky for that properly, so I love seeing all these extra posts coming on here. Oh shit. See, I need to come up with a sound that's just a thunk. Just a straight thunk. It's like, boom. Every time I see Darby. What in the hell does Darby... Oh, God. Wheeler. Wheeler. Are we doing tacks? Are we doing Lego? Are we doing glass? The tax. Is this why Statlander's wearing a one piece tonight? Now Yuta has to pick who wants to beat up. And oh yeah, it's gonna be Stat. No, Yuta's there to get pinned. And Stat's like, nope, you are eating oh shit. And Marina doesn't wear shoes. That's gotta hurt. I'm sorry, but that's gotta hurt more than anything else. And the powder in Marina's eyes, that's great. Oh. And a 450 on both of them. And Darby lining up. There it is. I'll have to say, it's pretty entertaining finish. You know, some feet people love that camera shot. I'm just going to go, yeah. My Home Alone anxiety is back. Poor Wheeler. Hell of a finish. Gotta say that. Well, we got our 2 main events for Wrestle Dream. Darby standing in the middle in the back. Surprised Moxley ain't there yet. Hockey fight! So this is actually an important thing here. You have all the security dealing with those two, and there's no security to take care of Darby, Wheeler, or the upcoming Moxley. Oh, never mind. There's Pac. I guess you didn't need Moxley. You could use Pac just as well, right? Oh, here comes Mox with duct tape. Well, Darby's dead. You know why they do these promos, right? Let's go back to Royal Rumble 1999. They legit do this on quite a different escapade. They set it up so that they have a recording of I Quit. So if there is a situation where there is an injury or something, you can literally have Kevin Knight versus a member of FTR on Saturday. So they could literally put a mic in front and say, and then they could just play the clip saying I quit. Yeah. The old Foley I quit. Yeah, that's exactly it. They try to do it with every wrestler to make sure that they do have an I quit thing logged in when they're doing that. So, but yeah, another episode of Dynamite in the books. I'd say they're really well done. 2 surprises, 2 matches set up for Wrestle Dream on top of the I Quit match we had before. Marina getting a decent spot there, sort of setting up a couple matches for next week, including the street fight, Hurt Syndicate, and the Demand. We're also getting Mercedes versus somebody from Florida, whatever that ends up being, and also just a little bit of Harley sprinkled in there, a little bit of Time Mellow. Life is good. new members of the Callis family growing like weeds. And yeah, so all in all, I think it's a pretty good Dynamite. I can't wait to see what Collision's like on Saturday. And I do hope that everybody gets a chance to check things out with me as well. Once again, remember, it is an early start time of 7 Eastern. So we should be on here right around 6:50 or so. But for those on YouTube, we are going to wrap up the action. In the pinned comment, there is a link to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MikeTheRef. I'm going to get the Xbox fired up. We'll get PJC in here, as well as Vic, HPC Bad Guys, as well as Kris from Retro Hangover here, Zodiac in the chat. And we will get our MyGM going so we can draft a roster. So, but I'll make sure I give you guys some tunes to listen to while we're on break here. I am going to set it for 3 minutes because, well, frankly, I got to unload and reload. Or more unload than reload, but you know what I mean. But got to get the Discord set up and all that great stuff. So we'll see you here in a couple minutes, folks. Sorry, let me do this in order. Got to end your stream over here. Thank you for being here, YouTube. We will see you all here next time. And stay out of trouble. And hopefully the streaming issues with YouTube will be fixed. We'll see you later, everybody. All right, now for you guys.